Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today we are reviewing a documentary that I did not expect to enjoy as much as I did, and this one is called Maxine's Baby, the Tyler Perry story. Here's a very quick synopsis. An intimate portrayal of Tyler Perry and his harrowing but faithful road to the top of an industry that didn't always include him. And this is directed by Jerlely Berkeley and Armani Ortiz. Let's first start off by saying, if you're a Tyler Perry fan, you kind of know the Tyler Perry story. It's been plastered everywhere humanly possible. Everything that he did to get to the point of him being homeless. His struggle to get his first play off the ground. His struggle to get his first movie off the ground. And once the movie got off the ground, we then do get the story of the movie studio and how Hollywood never accepted him and how other people discredit his work. Like, these are traits of the Tyler Perry story that we hear all the time. What made this film interesting is that it decided to dive a little bit more into his family life. And I say a little bit more because it doesn't go too far. It gives you just enough. But it dives into his relationship with his mother, his relationship with his father, which are two highly important relationships on how we establish who Tyler Perry is. So from the moment this doc opens up, and it's narrated at the beginning by his cousin, I want to say, and when it opens up, and when we hear the story of his father and the abuse that Tyler Perry went through with his father, and the love that his mom always showed him, I think from that moment you understand you're going to hear the same Tyler Perry story, but you may hear it just from a different type of angle. And that's what we get here. We get the angle of the young man who never felt accepted by his father, the one who was beaten relentlessly by his father, the one that his mom always loved him, always believed in him, and always wanted him to do better. I know it sounds like regular tropes that you get in docs, but what these two directors here do an amazing job of is they make a story that feels generic, or one that you've heard countless times, especially if you're a Tyler Perry fan. They bring you a little bit into what made him that way, what gave him his drive. It's a part of this doc where he openly admits how much he dislikes his father, but that his father still instilled in him a work ethic because he saw this man get up every day and work extremely hard to make sure that his family was taken care of. And Tyler credits that as his work ethic, even though his disdain for his father is clear as day as you watch this doc. So while it's nothing new, when you tune into the Maxine's Baby, what you're here to see is the journey all over again. That's it, of what made Tyler Perry. We get the normal studio execs who talk when he first came in, and them wondering who was this man and what is this product that he has and why is it able to sell millions upon millions of dollars worth of tickets, and how is he relating to a base that no one else can touch. These are things we've heard countless times. One thing I did absolutely love is that in this doc they also gave opinions on some of Tyler Perry detractors. People who don't like his work. People who believe his work is beneath Black people. I absolutely love that they brought that perspective in, because again, it helps shape the person that Tyler is. It helps shape Tyler Perry's story better than what we're accustomed to get in these type of, I don't want to call it a fluff documentary, but in these type of documentaries that feel closer to like a fluff piece. But out of the recent ones that we've seen, which is the Arnold Schwarzenegger one and Sylvester Stallone, this one with Tyler Perry is the best well executed, because it goes a little deeper into his personal life, into his relationship with his father, which is the best parts of this doc, is when he talks about his father, when he talks about everything he went through, when he talks about their current relationship. Like, all of that is so harrowing. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat to hear about it. But then when we get this moments and him even mentioning his mom, and we see like his face kind of lights up whenever he brings her name up in the doc. But also the filmmakers bring that same presence to it when they bring her up in this doc. And they bring up how he just wanted to please her. It's an amazing story about when he put on his first play and his mom had rented him a van and he drove all the way for the play. The play didn't make any money and he had to come back and tell his mother, like, I don't have money to pay for this. And he tells a story about how his mom went off and she was cussing, she was fussing. And in the midst of it all, she happened to look at her son and he had tears in his eyes and he was completely broken, and she stopped immediately and said, I am so sorry. Like that, those type of stories is what make this doc interesting, because this is stuff that, even though we know Tyler's story, we have not heard much about. We know how much he loved his mom. We understood how well he takes care of his parents. But before this doc, I can say I've never really got any full backstory besides that one episode he did with Oprah when he talked about the abuse that he suffered. We didn't get much any other story about his parents and about how and what made him. And that this doc really centers on that. It is an emotional roller coaster as you watch this. It is so many moments that can break you in this documentary. Because again, he's honest. Granted, you kind of want more of it. You wish at times that the filmmakers would have pushed him a little harder to get a little more out of him. They don't. They do it just enough to make sure it serves the story perfectly, but it never feels uncomfortable. And I think the best type of docs makes the subject feel uncomfortable when you have to address certain things in your life. And here we never get that, but instead we just get a harrowing story of a black man who technically has built an empire unlike anything you've ever seen. At least with this doc, it puts in a frame exactly who Tyler Perry is. Tyler Perry is the modern day Walt Disney. He's built an empire bigger and better than anyone else in Hollywood currently doing it. And that is on the forefront here. Look, they show footage of the very first Tyler Perry studio. Then the grand opening of what he thought at the time would be the big Tyler Perry studio. And then we see the last grand opening of the mega space that is the new Tyler Perry Studios. And it's all about progression of him as a workaholic, as him as a writer, a director, as someone who's able to always find his faith in any situation. And that's highly important with Tyler Perry, because that's part of the appeal. That's part of his appeal to his audience, is that. And I absolutely love the moments of it when he's talking about his audience and he's talking about reaching people that people have forgotten about. I think that's also a highly important part of Tyler Perry that this doc does put in the focus, is that he is very intentional about his audience. He does not care if you don't like it, if you're not a part of his audience. So it says a lot for someone who makes the decision that I'm going to go straight forward with the people who believe in me and the people who will always support me. And I'm not going to go out my way to try to bring in an outside force or outside people to make them love my work. And again, that's one of the points of this doc that it kind of highlights and shows. But again, you're here for the father-son, mother-son relationship, because that's what this doc does extremely well. Again, you feel every bit of love when his mother's mentioned in this doc, and you feel every bit of disdain when his father's mentioned in this doc. And even as it went on about a reveal that I did not find out until this doc about his dad. And I'm 1,000% sure it's a lot of people who already know this, because part of it was a clip, I think, on a Piers Morgan show when Tyler revealed that the man he thought was his father, it actually isn't his father at all. And I'm a person who did not know this information, so I found this out during the doc. But just when you see his reaction to it and him still saying, I'm still taking care of this man, because technically he's the only father I knew, no matter everything that he's went through, or him saying that they don't have a relationship, they don't speak. Like, all of this stuff is just a testimony to what it means to be faithful to one's parents at all costs, because that's what Tyler is here. Again, along with the relationship with his mom, which I think this doc will definitely put into focus both of his parents. You're going to see the negatives at times of both of them. And with his mom, you're definitely going to see huge positive elements that molded Tyler Perry. But then in the background, you see his father, who he, again, does not have a relationship with. But this man possibly molded Tyler's work ethic. And Tyler works harder than anyone else in a business. And if you didn't know that, once you see this doc and you understand how much he works, or how hard he works, and how hard he pushes himself, I think anyone who is someone who necessarily did not want to support Tyler Perry in any way, or people who just didn't want to respect exactly what Tyler Perry is and what his work represents, I think when you see this doc, it's going to change your mind. This is a good enough portrayal. Granted, I would love it if it went a little deeper, but it's just good enough to change your mind on Tyler Perry. Even if you don't like his work, even if you don't like the films, you don't like the television shows, anything of that nature, I think after this doc, you'll walk away wholeheartedly respecting everything that he's put together, because we'll never see this ever again. So, Maxine's Baby, brought to you by Amazon. It comes out on November the 17th. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Maxine's Baby a 9 out of 10. Granted, I wanted to go deeper as a doc. I wanted especially to hone in more on the relationship with him and his father, because that's extremely important, and I think something that could have brought a different conversation and needs to be had, especially amongst Black men and Black fathers. Like, that could have been a real deep conversation to be had. But nonetheless, you still get a very entertaining doc that's going to keep you engaged from start to finish, and is a portrait of just this amazing figure that we've never seen before. And it's very rare in Hollywood you can ever say that you've introduced someone you've never seen before, or someone strive in the way that he has, that possibly, again, has not been seen since Walt Disney did it. But check it out when it drops. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.